For the first time in what feels like forever, Battlefield is finally back with its first strong installment in a very, very long time. And with COD being in a somewhat rocky place at the moment, this does raise the question of whether the multiplayer FPS throne is there for the taking. So let's take a look at Battlefield 6. Battlefield is at its best when it focuses on its biggest strength, and its biggest, most undeniable strength is the sheer scale and spectacle. This isn't a game where you run down a scripted corridor while a building collapses in the background. This is a game where you and 63 other players are the script. The spectacle isn't something that you just merely watch, it is something you actively participate in creating. You can have at least 10 moments per game that would be the climactic finale of any Hollywood action movie. Imagine this, I'm going to set the scene. You are fighting tooth and nail to capture a point, a friendly tank rolls into support, but then an enemy jet just comes flying overhead and just destroys everything. The buildings are falling down, the tank's destroyed, and everything's just gone crazy and you're disoriented. Everything has just gone wow. The audio design is just chef's kiss, the screen shakes, the sound becomes muffled, and the frantic panicked calls of your squad mates are all you can hear. That is not a cutscene, that is Tuesday. And this spectacle is built on a foundation of absolutely incredible gunplay. The weapons feel distinct and weighty, there is a tangible sense of power behind every shot. Firing a DMR as a sharp punishing crack, while laying down suppressive fire with an LMG can sort of make you feel like an unmovable pillar of doom. The audio design, the screen shake, the subtle control of vibration all coalesces into a feedback loop that is just pure visceral satisfaction. And if a gun doesn't quite feel right to your playstyle, you can alter it a bit. You can change the bullets, you can change the sights, you can change the grips, you can change pretty much anything about the gun, and I feel like this is quite in depth, although doing this sort of thing and making your gun a completely different gun isn't something I'm particularly interested in. But the real reason that I love Battlefield is that the philosophical core that separates it from the likes of COD. You can have a profound impact and have an absolute ton of fun, even if you are objectively bad at shooting people. I like to think I am above average at FPS games in general, but my main value in a Battlefield match doesn't come from fragging. But in Battlefield 6, that doesn't matter. I live for the support role, as you can probably tell. There is a unique, chaotic joy in being a battle medic. You are not looking for kills necessarily, you are scanning the horizon for those little revive icons. You're sprinting through smoke, you're dodging sniper fire, and sliding into a pile of bodies to get them back in the fight. That little zip sound of the defibrillators, the grateful thank you from a teammate you just saved, is a different kind of power fantasy. It's the fantasy of being the unsung hero who single-handedly maintains the front line. You might go 5 for 16 every now and then, but you'll be top of the leaderboard because you just revived 56 people. I only wish that you clowns, yes, I'm talking to you, would be a little bit more patient. When you die, the game will show you how far away a medic is from you. When you respawn, the team loses a ticket, so stop skipping straight to death. Impatient players have always been an issue in Battlefield for the medic role, but it feels so much worse in this one. And yes, I do know that there are some medics that just don't revive people as medic, and that is also annoying. But I must say, in my personal experience, I find the people that skip revives way more frequent and way more annoying. But you can also play as an engineer, which I haven't usually done much in previous Battlefield games, but I had a lot of fun doing it in Battlefield 6. You might not be the one storming the building, but you are the one that makes the storming possible. Seeing an enemy tank roll onto point and terrorise your team is not a moment of dread for me. When I see this, my eyes light up. I switch to the engineer, and I pepper it with rockets and anti-tank mines. The crunch as a tank's hull breaks and it explodes is one of the most satisfying sounds in the game. Conversely, repairing a friendly tank while it's under fire, seeing your repair tools sparkle against the tank as shells explode all around you and you can see the health bar of the tank going up and down as you fight back, you just feel like a mechanic in the middle of an apocalypse, and you are completely essential. Moment to moment, from the earth-shattering spectacle to the nuanced role-playing, Battlefield 6 is just a pure, unadulterated blast. It understands that fun in a wargame isn't just about being the best shooter, it is about being the best soldier. So we've established that the core gameplay loop of Battlefield 6 is an absolute blast, but a great loop needs a great playground. That brings us to the maps and the modes, the sandbox where all this chaos is supposed to unfold, and this is where we find some of the highest highs and some of the most frustrating lows in the entire game. let's start with the good news. The modes are, for the most part, fantastic. I will say I've had very, very little experience in the really short scale modes like the domination ones and stuff. I have no interest in playing that kind of thing in a Battlefield game. I played like 2 games, didn't enjoy it. But the classic Conquest is still the king. It is the pure, undiluted Battlefield experience, a giant sandbox where you can create your own fun. If you want to be a tank commander rolling from flag to flag as a mobile fortress, go for it. If you prefer to be stealthy infantry, capturing points behind the lines and causing chaos, go for it. Conquest is the mode that best understands the play your way philosophy. The large player count and sprawling objectives mean the battle has a natural ebb and flow. It is a living, breathing war zone. Then you have Breakthrough. If Conquest is a wide open war, Breakthrough is a focused, brutal siege. As an attacker, you're pushing a front line through a series of sectors and the combat becomes intensely concentrated. Every inch of ground is paid for in blood and respawn tickets. The sound design is just phenomenal again. The constant whistle of bullets, the thump of explosions and the desperate shouts of your squad create a level of tension when you're trying to either defend or attack a point that I haven't felt in a shooter since probably the last good Battlefield. Successfully pushing through a heavily defended point with seconds left on the clock is a feeling of collective triumph that is just simply unmatched. But the real standout is the new addition, Escalation. This mode is an absolute masterstroke of forced chaos. It starts out feeling like Conquest with multiple flags up for grabs, but as the timer ticks down, the zone of conflict shrinks. The number of active flags gets smaller and smaller until the entire server, all of the players, are funneled into a frantic meat grinder fight over 3 objectives. It's pure, unadulterated chaos, buildings get leveled, smoke grenades become fog of war, and the kill feed scrolls at a dizzying speed. It takes the large-scale warfare of Conquest and gives it a shot of adrenaline straight to the heart, ensuring that every match has a blistering, action-packed finale. But now we need to talk about the maps, and this is where the but enters the conversation, because while the modes are designed to enable fantastic gameplay, I'm just not a fan of many of the maps. The most glaring issue is, of course, the lack of truly large-scale maps. Where are the behemoths, the ones that make you feel like a tiny speck in a massive war? We have a few that feel quite big, but there's none that feel absolutely massive, and there are quite a lot that feel like they were designed with a sort of smaller scale in mind. The problem isn't that the maps are inherently bad, it's that they are incredibly mode dependent. A map can be a 10 out of 10 masterpiece in one mode and also an absolute chore in another mode. The map pool doesn't feel curated for a consistent experience across all modes. It feels like a collection of individual levels where some just got lucky with good mode map synergy. However, they're still not the biggest thing holding back the otherwise brilliant multiplayer from achieving true greatness. And that, my friend, is the progression. We're going to shift gears from the glorious emergent chaos of the battlefield and we're going to start criticising. In Battlefield 6, you don't unlock all of your gadgets and weapons and camos by simply playing the game and earning experience. That would be far too simple. Oh no. Instead, you must complete a series of very specific, often deeply obscure challenges. Now, a good challenge, a good example of a good challenge would be get 50 kills with this weapon, or get, I don't know, 200 revives to unlock this new gadget. Right? That would be nice, but Battlefield 6 looks at this and says, no, that ain't enough. We're talking about challenges that are fundamentally disconnected from how you would naturally play the game in your chosen role. And I think it's just silly. The most damning part of this system is that it actively punishes you for playing your role correctly. The support player, who was happily reviving everybody, if they want to unlock a new gadget, they have to do something completely different, and it just doesn't make much sense. It takes a fantastically run core game and slaps a layer of tedious artificial grind on top of it, because some of these requirements are just absolutely crazy. And look, I'm not somebody who's going to be absolutely playing the game for 20 hours a day and then say, oh my god, I completed everything, there's no content. I understand that they don't want you to finish everything in the first few weeks of the game, but they still need a hell of a lot of fine tuning. There are also some other issues with the game as well. The changes they've made to the Portal mode since release border on false advertising, and anyone who purchased the game for that mode specifically in mind has every right to feel conned. There's the whole aim assist debacle going on as well, but the biggest issue to me is still the progression. And then we have the campaign. Look, if you're buying a Battlefield game for the campaign, you are a rare and beautiful unicorn, but for the sake of completion, let's just give it a moment of our time. The campaign in Battlefield 6 is, to put it simply, a collection of missed opportunities wrapped in a stunning graphical shell. It is a perfectly competent few hours of dumb, explosion-filled fun. The set pieces are big, the guns are still good to shoot, and there are moments where you get to play with all the toys. But the moment you scratch a little bit beneath that glossy surface, you find nothing of substance. The story is the most generic, rogue faction, stop the bad guy, save the world, military thriller that you could possibly imagine. It really feels like it was storyboarded by AI. I finished the campaign and I genuinely could not tell you the name of any character. I can't remember a single character's name. They are less like people and more just like mannequins designed to hold guns and deliver cliche one-liners. It lacks a single memorable character, a single quotable line, or a story beat that you haven't seen done better in a dozen other games. It is the video game equivalent of straight-to-streaming action movie. You'll consume it, you'll nod, and you will enjoy yourself, but then it will evaporate from your memory before the credits have even finished rolling. It's functional, but it's completely forgettable. Now, you may be expecting a segment on RedSec here, and guess what? You will not be getting one, and there is a reason for that. I can't stand Battle Royale games anymore. I have a long history of Battle Royale games. I played a hell of a lot of PUBG, I played a hell of a lot of Warzone, I played a hell of a lot of Apex. But unfortunately, I'm just over it right now. When Splitgate 2 added their Battle Royale, I trudged through that for the review, and it was a torrid experience. And whilst I'm sure that RedSec is better than that, I simply have no desire to find out, and I am choosing to exercise my free will. The game mode is free anyway, so if you're curious, then just try it. When Battlefield 6 is good, it is untouchable. It provides a scale of chaos, a depth of teamwork, and a sheer unadulterated fun factor that no other shooter on the market can really match. The moments of epic spectacle it creates are genuinely priceless, and that's what makes the flaws so frustrating, but also so fixable. Think about it, the core of this game, the gunplay, the destruction, the class system, is an absolute masterpiece to me. It is a 10 out of 10 foundation, but the broken progression, surely that can be patched. The map balancing and variety, surely that can be improved with post-launch support and community feedback. The forgettable campaign, well, we just won't talk about that again. That's the real takeaway here, that this isn't a game that is fundamentally broken in any way. This is a diamond, a loud, explosive, building collapsing diamond that is currently covered in some very annoying but yet very scrubbable dirt. If the developers listen, if they support the game and refine these rough edges, then we could be looking at an all-time classic, a shooter that could dominate for years to come. The potential here is staggering. The foundation is laid, and now we just need to see if they build the skyscraper on top of it instead of destroying it. But what do you think? Are you as excited about the potential of Battlefield 6 as I am, or has the progression issues and the other problems that I mentioned driven you away? Please let me know in the comments, and if you did enjoy this video, then please like and subscribe. Both things really do help me out. I upload at least one video a week. Have a nice day, and goodbye.